What's poppin', people? It's Dante. I'm along the Schuylkill River Trail here in Philadelphia, just getting my morning started, setting my body into motion. Right? Set yourself into motion, right? The motivation is in your legs. Thinking of photography, right? When you are considering a future project you'd like to work on. Ooh, look at the falling. I caught it. Everything's in motion. When you're considering like any future projects or trips you want to go on, any sort of ideas you may have, you know, I think the best thing to do is to just go out there and to explore and to just walk and to make pictures where you are now, right? There's only now. No planning, no preparations are really needed when it comes to photography. All you really need are a pair of shoes and your camera, right? It's a very simple thing. You know, how much beauty can one see in a day? You know, this is a question I've been wondering, where I can walk this same path every single morning and find infinite beauty in the way that the water sort of rolls down the river, the way the light hits the bridge, the branches moving slowly with the wind, and the way that the leaves have been falling each day. You know, just these simple observations really make life so infinitely beautiful and fascinating to the vision of an artist or a photographer like myself. And I find that this joy it brings me is something I'd like to share with others and to cherish. You know, these moments, it really makes life, you know, fantastic. The cheerful mind. To have a cheerful mindset, an optimistic outlook onto life itself, I find is a really powerful thing, right? To find beauty in the mundane, to truly cherish the now, the moment itself. You know, this is what sets my body into motion. It's what sets me out into the world to go out there and to explore. I find this is a critical consideration, right? The present moment, the now, to sort of stay grounded and to sort of not be disturbed by, you know, the future, the past, and to recognize that this moment, the physical flesh in front of you, whether it's a human or a tree, we're all connected in one way or another. And you can find this sort of peace amongst the chaos, right? For what has value in life, right? Is it the praise you seek from a social media post or the applause of others from a crowd? You know, we as artists should seek not of fame or fortune or all of these sort of things that are earthly and worldly, but to find value in the social interactions you have with strangers when you're making pictures on the streets, to find value in nature itself, and to be grateful and recognize the connection that you have to these simple things, right? To the people around you, to nature, you know, for the sun itself, for the moon, for the water, and for the cows. Right, we must eat more dead cows. You know, I think that the more that we eat dead cows, the more that we eat beef, the stronger, the more powerful we become, fueling our body with the nutrients we need, and allowing me to go out there with courage and curiosity. You know, considering longevity and death, you know, the impermanent nature of life itself, where we're sort of just waiting for that moment in a way, kind of just going about our lives until the day that we die, and it could happen at any moment. So perhaps to live every day like it's your last is one of the most wise approaches to everyday life, actually. And to fear not of this sort of natural way of life is, I believe, wise, right? Where I have this sort of lust and love for wisdom itself this past year, and seeking it through experience and being outside, and to sort of interact with others and nature. You know, this is something that brings me joy and fuels my lust for life itself, is seeking wisdom and learning as I go. Oh, they're becoming much more brittle. So walking along this path today, I didn't fall in the hole. That's good. But really considering longevity, considering death and these things, you know, maybe it's better to live a short, full life than a long, dull life. You know, I'd like to live a long life, right? I think we all sort of desire that. I mean, that's sort of a natural inclination to have, perhaps, but actually, the more that you cherish this moment and experience life to the fullest, actually it maybe doesn't matter whether it's short or long, etc. But to make whatever you're, you know, just to spend the time while you're alive fully and awake, right? Where the branch just ripped me in the fucking face. It's so fun. I don't know why, I'm just always intrigued to like look at the details, look at the patterns, look at the withering of every leaf and every detail. And I don't know, I genuinely find that these simple things that I do through the day, like through haptic feedback, through touching things, you know, you really can cherish life itself, and it feels full. So yeah, maybe it is better to live a full, short life, but regardless, you could live until you're 120 years old, right? You could live a long life and still not see everything on this world. And I mean, that thought alone boggles my mind, that you could continuously walk along the path and continue walking and traveling all over to every different city you can think of, but you're still not going to see every square inch of, you know, the globe, of the world, of this earth. And actually, this thought, it's very inspiring. You know, it allows me to set myself into motion, to actually go out and to continue walking, and to continue, yeah, just moving through life itself. And, you know, to rise in the morning with your eyes wide open, right? To sort of wake up and to sort of, you know, I like to consider it like I'm preparing for battle, because you never know what you'll find outside, right? Who knows? But the idea is to open with eyes wide open, with this curious state, like you were just born, right? Like, I like to consider every moment I wake up like I'm being born again, and to sort of restart each day, to sort of go back to square one, to the basics, and to honestly forget everything that I think that I know, you know, whether it's in terms of life, photography, etc. I think that this actually enhances creativity and potential human thriving generally. You know, for I am foolish. you know, fame is foolish. Seeking fame seems to be such a foolish thing, right? Where, you know, just consider Instagram, right? You're getting likes, you're getting comments, people are messaging you on Instagram. Yeah, you got a good picture. Yeah, that's cool. You did this thing. And it's like for that like 5 minutes or whatever of fame they say. And it's just bizarre because it exists on a little phone or whatever device you're looking at. And then you go outside, it's like, look, it's just me and the road, and I'm walking towards the trees. You know, there's this crisp breeze. You know, it's cold outside, I feel good. You know, when you walk around your town, you know, it's like, I just think it's a foolish thing. It just seems very foolish to even desire or seek fame itself, because we all come and go, we all are born and die. Your name will be forgotten one day. You know, maybe even considering legacy as, you know, not so important, but maybe, you know, considering your biological function and making children as the ultimate legacy your artwork can live on, perhaps. But, you know, fame, I mean, this is a foolish thing. Like, I care if, you know, who cares what other people think about you, whether they like you, don't like you. You know, there's just no need. So I actually found that by removing myself, deleting my Instagram, it's helped me stay grounded in the now and the moment, and it's, I think, a wise and practical approach going forward into the future. You know, to not allow anything external have any effect on you, right? Where, yeah, for instance, considering fame, like, I seek not of applause from others. I don't need it. It's not something I desire. Or even the conditions of the weather. It's cold, put a coat on. You know, we're here on this earth for a very short amount of time. It's kind of crazy. You know, and the days will continue to go by. And yeah, maybe that's why, you know, seeking pleasure and seeking fame is ill-advised, right? It's like, that's not the point of life. You know, but perhaps pain is actually a good teacher, right? Thinking of the gym, thinking of lifting weights, thinking of physiology. Even when I wake up and do a cold shower, there's this sort of pain that you feel from it in that sort of immediate sense where you're shocked completely. Your whole system is sort of wondering, what the hell are you doing? You just went from your warm, cozy bed to a freezing cold shower. But this pain for that 5 minutes has a lasting effect throughout the morning, where now I've got adrenaline, right? I've got this sort of physiological response that fuels me. So perhaps pain and pleasure are interesting things to consider. And so seeking pleasure, you know, it's not that important for me. For the pleasures are all around you in nature and social interaction and the simple things, truly, when it comes down to it. Like, even considering food, right? Fasting all day, no breakfast, no lunch, just eat one meal of red meat before bed. You know, I don't really care for the taste of the food itself, right? Beef tastes delicious. You know, I can't lie. There are some pleasures that you get from eating beef itself. But I'm not doing anything crazy in the kitchen. I'm just adding salt. Lately, I've been just adding salt. Now I'm adding pepper, actually. Whoa, salt and pepper. you know, and it tastes just tastes how it tastes, right? I don't need all of the ultra processed yummy foods and options that we have now in the modern world that you know, I'm sure it's really delicious to eat a big bowl of frosted flakes covered in sugar and you know, order a yummy cheeseburger or whatever. But the more I strip away things, the more I remove things from my personal life, whether it's food, different sorts of pleasures, whether it's alcohol, all of these things, when you remove them, I think it actually enhances life, right? Where you no longer are tied to an external thing to give you that pleasure, but you find the pleasure from within the moment itself. And yeah, so perhaps it's wise to just subtract all of the superfluous things and march on. There goes the train delivering whatever it's got on its train cars. Who knows what it's bringing into the city. You know, I like thinking of the city as like this computer processing data, delivering information to and fro, these sort of networks that we have here, right? The different roads and paths and ramps and places that we've designed, sort of like we're programming like computers, and we're all kind of just like somehow coexisting within this chaotic environment in the urban cities, but to maybe walk the perimeter, to be on the outskirts of town, to sort of look out towards the big skyscrapers. It puts things into perspective, and I find this to be a really good way to start the day, where I can look out, think, you know, have this sort of fresh air from the natural world around me, along the outskirts, and to sort of put myself up onto an elevated position to look out. It feels good. It fuels me with courage for the day. It fuels me with strength and power, and ultimately it gives me a feeling of joy. It keeps me excited. You know, I think it's important to be excited. It's important to be cheerful. You know, it's easy to be negative. It's easy to sort of mope around. But when you look out towards your town from an elevated position, you know, it turns my frown upside down if I have one. But here we are. The movement of cars rushing to work, the blinking of the lights, moving along these networks, these roads, information. Alright, let's cross, let's jaywalk. Oh, I'm like in Vietnam. In Vietnam, you jaywalk and it's actually safer. It's funny. It's like you're more alert. It's kind of interesting. It's like, should I just look, I take too many risks sometimes. Let me jaywalk. Let me go my own way. You know, perhaps though, to embrace chaos I think it's a good thing, you know, to sort of you know, find peace in the moment, whatever, and you know, recognize that whatever is in the now is in your control. But to allow all of the chaos in openly, you know, it fuels me. But don't be just don't be stupid. The light is still flickering. And so perhaps it's wise to not be bound to anything, to sort of go beyond your identity itself, your nation, your state, your city, your politics, your viewpoints on things. To sort of remove and disconnect, and to unchain and untether yourself to your beliefs, and to not be complacent or stuck on any sort of one mode of thinking or operating, but to maybe become more unconventional to your approach with life and photography. I am embracing the artificial intelligence, the ChatGPT, the removal of external stimuli from my life, where I no longer am bombarded by advertisements on Google. No more sponsors popping up in my face. You know, remove yourself from the news, the media, the TV, where, you know, if you have a nice view, you know, find yourself looking out the window. You know, find yourself looking out the window, right? You'll see that there's actually more entertainment to be had in the flesh, in the physical real world, than through the screens and through the TV, where just watching the leaves fall or watching the branches and the trees that are so tall bring me more joy after all, really. It's so small, but so powerful, and keeps me moving and setting myself into motion in the morning. So here we are at the gazebo. Beautiful day. Philadelphia. Born and raised on the playground is where I spent most of my days. You know, don't take yourself so serious. Be playful. It's better to be the gay monster than the sentimental bore. Set yourself in motion. How to find motivation? Move.